I mean, he's had some few words, but he didn't really say much. For reaction, let's bring in Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt. How you doing, sir? Good to have you on. Biden made it to the border. It's the second time there. He was miles away the first time. This time, Brownsville, Texas. We could point out that there have been only 46 encounters in the past 5 days in Brownsville. There have been something like 2,200 where Trump went today. But your thoughts on what Biden had to say? And it sounded to me, just tell me if I'm wrong, it sounded to me like all he wanted was more money.
Well, look, he has all the tools he needs right now, Eric, to secure the border. The same laws that existed under President Trump exist right now. When President Trump was in office, we had the lowest level of illegal immigration in 40 years. On day one, Joe Biden came into office. I mean, they bragged about this. They undid all of the successful policies, whether it was Remain in Mexico, Title 42, they're abusing parole. They stopped deportations, literally put a pause on deportations. They stopped something called Operation Talon, which was to deport previously convicted sex offenders from other countries here illegally. I mean, this was the scope of what they were doing. And whether it was, to pad census numbers in 2030 or truly just the open borders crowd now runs the White House, which I think is what it is. Mm-hmm. We're living through that result now, right? Which is 9 million people here illegally in a border that's totally broken.
I don't get it. So up until this point, Alejandro Mayorkas, Kamala Harris, the borders are Biden. They said the border's fine. It's not broken. Everything's fine at the border. He testified, Mayorkas did, on Capitol Hill several times saying everything's fine. And then Biden, when they finally throw the towel and realize it's ridiculous and America's not going to vote for the guy because of it, he goes there and said, it's high time. It's past time for us to do something. Well, you idiot, president, you bad president, you're the one who caused it.
Of course, this is a man-made disaster, Eric, and that man is Joe Biden, okay? This is a result of their failed policies. They were so obsessed with undoing everything successful under President Trump that they just did this, right? And even if Joe Biden wanted to reverse course, which I don't think that he does, the left, which has captured the Democrat Party, is not going to let him. This is exactly what they want to see. These are folks who believe that these borders, these are just arbitrary lines on maps. We're all global citizens and everybody deserves to come here. They don't believe in the sovereignty of the United States of America. Now, they'll certainly fight and send $200+ billion to Ukraine because they believe in the sovereignty of their border, but they don't believe in the sovereignty of our own border. And that's where the disconnect is.
Yeah, quite a bit disconnect to most of the American people. He couldn't help himself but to throw the most ridiculous line in there, what they always do. It's all about their base and their donors and just hat tipping the AOCs of the world. Listen.
The idea there's no such thing as climate change. I love that, man. I love some of my Neanderthal friends who still think there's no climate change. Well, my administration is going to keep building on the progress we've made fighting climate crisis, and we're going to keep help folks rebuild themselves in the wake of these disasters.
Can you believe this? Can you believe at the border where we have a crisis, we have people, Americans dying at the hands of these illegal invaders who are killing our kids, raping our little girls, 14-year-olds, 2 of them, and this guy has the gall to stand up there and his one time in 3.5 years and say, I'm going to work on climate change? Sir.
Yeah, it's a total disconnect. Yeah, it's a total disconnect, Eric. And, they've always talked about trying to find the root cause. Well, I think we found the root cause at the border today. It's Joe Biden, right? So this idea of blaming this climate alarmism that's sort of like this pseudo religion for the left now, it's totally nuts. It's a disconnect. It's bankrupting this country. It's sending jobs to China. It's certainly not making us, more economically secure. He's declared war on domestic energy production. There's 2 things, Eric, I think to take away here that no country in the history of the world literally has ever done. No country in the history of the world's ever openly and willingly opened up their border for anybody to come through and to see the kind of invasion that we see now. No one's ever done that. And also, no country's ever declared war on their own energy production and natural resources. Most countries have gone to war since the beginning of time for natural resources, but we are ceding all of that sovereignty, economic power, security because of, again, the radical nature of the left now.
Incredible. Incredible. Got to leave it right there. I know you have a plane to catch. Appreciate your time. Eric Schmitt, thank you for joining us.